Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to start making, well, we're going to finish making. So we've made all these numbers. 7 and 8 we just did. That's my 8. So the last two numbers, and all of our numbers are going to be done, as well as the entire alphabet. Our last two numbers are 9 and 0. The reason we don't do 10 is because you can just put that 0 with anything and make it a 20, a 10, a whatever you want. So I'm still using a 6mm hook. That's what I've used for all of mine. That, you know, they're all the same size. They're all 16 rows. You know, because when they're hanging on a sign, you know, hanging up, you don't want it to be different sizes. So back and front are we weave everything in. So let's jump right into this. So get your two colors that you're going to need. I'm using this kind of a rose color here and this blue color for my lettering, or for my numbers anyway. Make a slip knot. You're going to chain 12 and do 11 single crochets. And my whole alphabet's the same size too, so that's my chain 12. So I'm going to do 11 single crochets back up, and then my next row is going to be just 11 single crochets, all with the same color. Chain 1, turn your work, and do 11 single crochets again. So that was round 2. We're going to start incorporating color into round 3. So round 3, I want you to do 5 single crochets, but don't finish your 5th stitch. This is my 5th stitch, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to finish it with my new color. So my next stitch is going to be this blue color, so that's why I got to finish this with blue. So we're weaving everything in, so pull down on everything. Try not to make this tight so that this is still kind of, it's workable. I mean, you're going to block it anyway, but so with your B color, you're going to see it written with a B beside it on my pause screens, and that's the color that you're using for your numbers. You're going to do 5 single crochets. So on your 5th stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, and you're going to do 1 single crochet. Weaving everything in. So I'm going to cut this little nubby off because I don't need to keep weaving him in. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 4, take this blue and bring it with you. Round 4 is going to be 5 single crochets. On my 5th stitch, I'm going to finish it with my blue, my color B, and I'm going to do 3 single crochets. On my third stitch, I'm going to go back to my base color, and I'm going to do 3 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 5. You're going to do 3 single crochets with your base color. So on your third stitch, you're going to finish that with your B. With B, you're going to do 2 single crochets. On your second single crochet, you're going to finish that with your base. And with your base color, you're going to do 6 single crochets to the end. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 6. Round 6 is going to be 3 single crochets with your base color. With your B color, you're going to do 6 single crochets. On your 6th stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 7, you're going to do 1 single crochet, so you're basically going in and pulling up a loop and then changing your color. Then you're going to do 4 single crochets with your B color. On your 4th stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, and with your base color, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So you're basically just going to pull up a loop and go back to your blue color. Finish the stitch, and with your blue color, with your B color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. You're going to go back to your base color, so finish that last stitch with your base and do 2 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 8. You're going to do 2 single crochets with your base color. So on your 2nd stitch, you're going to switch to your B color. With your B color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. Your 2nd stitch, you're going to finish that with your base color. With your base color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. You're going to finish that 3rd stitch with your B color, and with your B color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. On your 3rd stitch, you're going to switch back to your base color and do 1 single crochet to finish the row. So around 9, you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base color. So you're basically just going to pull up a loop and you're going to finish the stitch with your blue. With your B color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So on your second one, finish that with your base color. And with your base color, you're going to do 4 single crochets. On your fourth stitch, you're going to finish that with your B color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets with your B color. You're going to finish your second stitch with your base color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets with your base to finish the row. Chain 1, turn your work. When you start to get a little gummed up, just hold one piece. Let me zoom out here. Hold one of these pieces and then just untwist. Easy peasy. Just like that. So chain 1, turn your work. Round 10, this goes to round 16, so round 10, you're going to do 2 single crochets with your base color. So on your second stitch, you're going to finish it with your B. With your B color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. On your second single crochet, you're going to finish that with your base color. And with your base color, you're going to do 4 single crochets. So we're doing the inside of the 9. Just make sure at the back you're keeping that blue or your whatever secondary color you're using, so it doesn't like stick up. So finish your fourth stitch with your B color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets with your B. So on the second one, you're going to finish that stitch with your base color and do 1 single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 11, you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base, so pull up a loop. Finish the stitch with your other color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets with your B color. So on your second stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, and you're going to do 3 single crochets with your base color. So on the third stitch, you're going to go back to your B color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets. So on your second stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, and you're going to do 3 single crochets to the end. So now we're just closing in the top of the number 9. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 12, you're going to do 4 single crochets with your base color. This is my 4th stitch, so I'm going to go to my blue, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets. On my second stitch, I'm going to go back to my base color, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet. So I'm just going to pull up a loop and finish it with my B. With B, I'm going to do 3 single crochets. So on my third stitch, I'm going to go back to my base color, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet. That's just my turning over stitch. It's hard to find. Round 13 is the last row we're going to use color in. You're going to do 2 single crochets with your base color. So on the second stitch, I want you to change to your B color where you're going to do 4 single crochets. On your fourth single crochet, you're going to go back to your base color and you're going to do 5 single crochets to finish the row. (14 to 16), so the next 3 rows are just going to be your base color. I'm going to weave this in anyway, just for security, so I don't have to sew it in. So you should have 11 single crochets. For the next 3 rows, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of those. So that is the end of mine. I'm going to fasten off because I'm not here to show you how to make a bunting, or else I would have started this probably with a triangle on the bottom. I'm just here to teach you the tapestry crochet. So I'm going to fasten off so I can weave in my ends. But there's your number 9. This artifact here, if you don't like it, you can just do a 1 single crochet around the whole entire thing to hide that, but I like it, so I don't do any of that. And then you just need to tuck in your ends very politely. But even if you are using this for numbers just the way we've built it, like to hang a sign or something, there is enough. What am I stuck on? How did I get through that? There is enough at the top here that you could fold over a piece of yarn or something to hang it. So number 10, or well, it's not number 10, it's number 0. It's number 0. Starts the same way, chain 12 and do 11 single crochets back up, and then do a row. Your second row is just 11 single crochets, all with the base color. So, round 3, we're going to incorporate the color. So we're going to do 4 single crochets with your base. On your 4th stitch, that's when you're going to bring in this color. And with your B color, you're going to do 5 single crochets. Excuse me, 5 single crochets. So in your 5th stitch, you're going to go to your base color. And with your base color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. Before that irritates me, chain 1, turn your work. Round 4, you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base. So you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to finish that stitch with your new color. With your B color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. You're going to finish that 3rd stitch. Excuse me. You're going to finish that 3rd stitch. With your base color, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So you're just going to pull up a loop, and you're going to finish it with your B color. With your B color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. On your 3rd stitch, you're going to finish that with your base color, and you're going to do 3 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 5. I need a drink of my coffee. I have a cold, so I need to drink liquids more. Probably not coffee, but you know. Round 5, you're going to do 3 single crochets with your base color. So you're going to finish your 3rd stitch with your number color, your color B. You're going to do 2 single crochets. So the 2nd stitch is where you finish it with your base color, and with your base color you're going to do 3 single crochets. You're going to finish that 3rd stitch with your B color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets. So on your 2nd stitch, you're going to finish it with your base color, and you're going to do 1 single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 6, you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base color, so you're just going to pull up a loop and finish it with your B color. With your B color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So on your 2nd stitch, you're going to go back to your base. With your base color, you're going to do 4 single crochets. On your 4th stitch, you're going to go back to your B color, and with B, you're going to do 2 single crochets. On your 2nd stitch, you're going to go back to your base color, where you're going to do 2 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 7, you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base, so pull up a loop, finish that stitch with your B color, and with B you're going to do 3 single crochets. On your 3rd stitch, you're going to finish it with your base color, and you're going to do 4 single crochets. On your 4th stitch, you're going to finish it with your bee color, and you're going to do 2 single crochets. You're going to finish that 2nd stitch with your base color, and you're going to do 1 single crochet to finish the row. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 8. You're going to do 1 single crochet. So you're going to pull that up and finish it with your base color. You're going to do 2 single crochets with your bee color. Did I say base color? I meant bee color. 2 single crochets with your bee color. Finish that with your base color. You're going to do 5 single crochets with your base color. So you're going to finish that 5th stitch with your bee color. With bee, you're going to do 2 single crochets. You're going to finish the 2nd stitch with your base color and do 1 single crochet to finish the row. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 9, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So you're going to pull up a loop, finish that stitch with your bee color. With your bee color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So you're going to finish your 2nd stitch with your base color. With your base color, you're going to do 4 single crochets. On your 4th stitch, you're going to finish it with your bee color. With your bee color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. You're going to finish your 2nd stitch with your base color. And with your base color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. I cannot get into this turning over stitch. There we go. Stuck on something. Oh, that's what it was. It grabbed. There we go. Chain 1, turn your work. I have to change my battery, but that's what you should have so far. It's a sideways. Oh, it's written. That's why it looks like that, or a 0. No, it's a 0. Alright, round 10. Oh, before we start round 10, I think I need to. So I use the blue, whatever color I'm not using for my loop, because I don't want to pull it out. That's the one I grab. Chain 1. Turn my work, round 10. Is going to be 2 single crochets with my base color. So my 2nd stitch, I'm going to finish it with my bee color. With bee, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So I'm going to finish that 2nd stitch with my base color. With my base color, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. This is my 4th stitch, so I'm going to finish it with my blue. And I'm going to do 2 single crochets. On my 2nd stitch, I'm going to go back to my base color. and I'm going to do my 1 single crochet at the end here. Chain 1 during your work. This is a pretty color, but it's horrible yarn. I use my scrap yarns to make these. My scrap ends, that's what I use to make these, because sometimes they're just such little balls. You can't really use them for anything, right? So I use them to make these. So round 11. This goes to 16, just like the other one. You're going to do 1 single crochet with your base color, so basically pulling that up, going to your blue, or whatever color, your bee color. You're going to do 2 single crochets with your bee color. You're going to, finish that stitch with your, my dog is making a lot of noise upstairs. You're going to finish that stitch with your base color. With your base color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. So on your 3rd stitch, you're going to finish that with your blue, or your bee color. With your bee color, you're going to do 2 single crochets. On your 2nd stitch, you're going to finish that with your base color. And with your base color, you're going to do 3 single crochets. Chain 1, turn your work. Round 12 is going to be 4 single crochets with your base color. On your 4th stitch, you're going to go to your bee color. With B, you're going to do 2 single crochets. You're going to switch back to your base color. With your base color, you're going to do 1. So you're basically just going to pull up a loop and go back to your B color. Where you're going to do 3 single crochets with your B color. You're going to finish that 3rd stitch with your base color, and you're going to do 1 single crochet with your base color to finish the row. Chain 1, turn your work. Last row with color, around 13. You're going to do 2 single crochets with your base color, and you're going to finish that with your B color. With B, you're going to do 4 single crochets. You're going to finish that with your base color, and with your base color, you're going to do 5 single crochets to the end. I had an itch on my face. It needed to be scratched immediately. That's why I dropped my hook. You ever get one of those itches where it just needs to be scratched right then and there? So this is the end of the row for color, but again, I'm going to weave in my blue. The next 3 rounds are just 11 single crochets with your base color. But for 2 of those rows, I weave in my blue. And you don't have to go 2 rows, but I like this artifact, so I want it kind of all the way up. But it doesn't start immediately on the bottom, and that's why I only do it for 2 rows. So that's just my preference. You can just weave in 1 row if you want. So you can fasten off at this point. Mine's just a weaving tail, because again, I'm not here to teach you how to make a bunting. I'm just here to teach you the tapestry. So weave your ends in, or whatever you're doing with your piece, but you got to be very, very polite about it. So you're going to probably have to block these. I'll put up the meaning of blocking on the page right now. So in a couple of my videos, I show you, my 7 and 8 video, I showed you how to block, if you need to see it. But not everybody has a blocking mat. You can just put it down on a piece of, soak it, wet it under a tap if you want. Put it on a towel, kind of pin it into the whatever shape you want to have it in. And just let it dry overnight. And it should keep its shape from there on out, because you can see, even just looking at mine right now, it kind of goes out. But before you wet it, I would just, you know, stretch it out, relax your stitches, and then more often than not, it takes on its own shape. So I don't know which way that's supposed to go. I think it's supposed to go this way. So that's your 0. So now all of our numbers are done, all of our letters are done, so you probably won't see much more from me as far as this goes, but I still enjoy the tapestry crochet. I am learning how to do the C2C, so we'll be doing some videos on the tapestry side of that as well. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. At 9 and 0. I will see you in the next video.